Street Empire.
They ask me what is love, I've been hurt by. If we talking trust, it told me lies. In the world full of devils, it's no surprise. Put on that armor, yeah, how we gon' survive. Let's talk about the TV, it's the program. It make killers and hoes, raising kids with no manners. They say you need God, but they got your praise to send us. They told you get a job and make money, what's the answer? They did, I'm the truth, they scared. They did, they did, I'm the truth, they scared. This world full of lust, she just wants the bed. They walking blindfold, I can see the dead. They say I'm out my mind, the doctor need meds. They say I'm on my grind, these children need fed. Remember I don't know what happened, the last stream dropped off, but we back on now. That's what we're gonna get into. See, around the time the adopted origins of 200,000 BCE is a time with a pre-Adamites culture and a time of Satan, Enki, that's what he went by, also known as Patan, Egypt, when he decided to modify his own, genetically modify his own man for slaves. So he also altered the original mankind. And I'm gonna get into some of the descendants. Genesis 2 and 8. And Yahweh planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So it lets you know Yahweh had formed him a man for himself, his own man. And that was the Adam we come from. And he lets us know in Genesis 2:17. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day thou shalt eat of thereof, thou shalt surely die. And this tree of knowledge of good and evil is Satan and his people, the people of the serpent. But we're going to get into that because there's multiple people of the serpent. And it's because the serpent known by different things. Okay. About 50,000 years ago, ancient humans is what is now West Africa apparently procreated with another group of ancient humans that scientists didn't know existed. There aren't any bones on ancient DNA to prove. A researcher said the evidence is in the genes of modern West Africans. They analyzed genetic material from hundreds of people from Nigeria and Sierra Leone and found signals of what they call ghost DNA from an unknown ancestor. But we know this because Yahweh had formed this man. So that's why they know who the ancestor really is. But we're going to get into the devil children on earth also. 1 John 3 and 10. By this the children of Yahweh are manifest, and the children of the devil, whosoever does not righteousness, not of Yahweh, neither is he that loveth not his brother. We're going to show you that the devil has children also. Okay. Genesis 6:2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took them wives of which they chose. So we know this happened twice. We know this happened by the watchers, and we know this happened by the children of Yahweh, known as us. Okay. But we're going to the people of the watchers. A great and tall, the children of the Annukims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, whom can stand before the children of Anak? So we see that the children of the devil also come from the children of Anak. The royal bloodline, what many people won't recognize until they take an intense look into secular history, is this. The same families, same bloodlines have been ruling over humanity for thousands of years. Concerning Hebraic bloodline discussed in the previous chapter, it is now the British monarchy who considers their bloodline sacred above all others in connection with aliens. And this is Enki, Satan, known as Satan, and the first human. This observance of the sacred bloodline is why incest is very important to the British monarchy, as it was with the Greeks and Babylonians. Incest cousins, married cousins, and even sisters. Bloodline again rose up in Greece under the Hellenistic rule. Today, this same bloodline reigns under the British monarchy, keepers of the crown. These are the actual physical descendants of Satan, who he made. The British crown. British monarchy, also known as the crown, a reference to the same crown's position on the horns of the beast, is given to us in 10 manifestations representing the 10 districts. The British monarch was set up in the world and reign over. Let the reader understand the crown, pictured on the beast's 10 crowns. It's more powerful than any ancient relic that may be in the custody of the Catholic Church. For the British monarchy, the crown is the most powerful society the world has ever known, only challenged in power and wealth by the infamous Bilderberg Group. Okay, the director of the Parker's Museum of History sent 5 samples of the Parker skulls to undergo genetic testing, and the results were mesmerizing. The samples, which consisted of hair, skin, teeth, and some fragments of cranial bones, gave incredible details that have fueled the mystery surrounding these anomalous skulls. The genetic laboratory to where the samples were sent was not informed of the origin of the skulls in order to avoid influence results. Interestingly, the mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited from the mother, showed mutations that were unknown to any man, primate, or animal found on planet Earth. The mutation present in these samples of Parker skulls, such as that the researchers were dealing with a completely new human-like being, very different from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, or Denisovans. The announcement in 2014 that the schools had 9 human DNA was originally promoted by Brian Forrester, a figure known for pseudoscience. See, this guy, when he presented his material, the mainstream wanted to know who he was and all this, but he didn't show himself to them because they got gag orders. He didn't want to get killed or anything. So they try to say it's human. These people who appear to be from an advanced culture who have been revered as gods to the human civilizations, rather than from aftermath of a great calamity. Further evidence of this comes from ancient carvings depicting beings with elongated heads, as traveling from another world to become stewards of primordial civilizations. Plus, their mitochondrial DNA shows these people had mothers who heralded from the Middle East, but the father lines cannot be traced to any known DNA on the planet. So we see that the fathers, they couldn't trace, they just found the mothers. They were human. And we also know that the sons of the Watchers, even though the Watchers came into daughters of men also, and these who they had, these were the children of not come from. Could this be evidence proving that advanced civilization being from another world came to usher in a new form of consciousness and to guide the earliest civilizations to fruition? Okay. All human blood types contain and are categorized by amounts of protein, except type Rh negative. That is, it is possible that human beings possessing the latter blood type are actually from Mars, Venus, or elsewhere in the universe. Well, since the known laws of physics break down past the horizons of black holes, truly anything is possible. But it is likely that the Rh negative bloodline has unearthly origins, and these are the people of Enki, who also known as Satan, by Israelite culture, our ancestors. Only 15% of human beings have this strange type of blood, and what more, these individuals have been described as having strange personal characteristics as well. Okay, here goes some more descendants of Satan, actual, because his seed, planted his seed here. Merovingian dynasty, Frankish dynasty, AD 476-750, traditionally reckoned as the first race of kings of France. A brief treatment of Merovingians follows for full treatment. See France. The Merovingians, the name Merovingians derived from the Morvet, of whom nothing is known except that he was the father of Childred, who ruled a tribe of Salian Franks from the capital at Tournai. Children was succeeded by his son Clovis first in 481 or 42. The Merovingian dynasties who owes its name to Morvet or Morin, sometimes Latinized as Morvius or Morvius, leader of the Salic Franks from 440 to 457 CE, and emerges into wilder history with the victories of his son Childeric. So we see right here, these are people actual descendants of the other people that was actually genetically put here. It's not supposed to be here because Yahweh, the actual council who made Earth and put the first atoms here, and they had to put a new atom here because Satan modified the ones and made slaves out of them. The Templars are alive and well today, but under other names like Masons, Presbyterians, and the private Scion legends of the Templars connect these blue bloods with the knowledge of the true purposes of Solomon's Temple and its connection to the Egypt ET myth. Secrets always include the protection of royal bloodline, which needs protection at some deeper esoteric level. and shooting some hybrid project from a higher intelligence. To understand the Templars, you must understand the deeper origins and purposes. Who GPAs worked for Godfrey D. Roland, King of France, who initiated the First Crusade. Godfrey was a direct descendant of the royal and mysterious Merovingian kings who ruled between 400 and 700 AD up until recently. Little was known about Virginian's king, as they inhabited that historical epoch derided as the Dark Ages. Yet, according to anthropologist Stephen Mizrahi, the Merovingians' most unusual chronicler is Gerald D. Sadie, who claims the famous fabulous race descends from an extraterrestrial from Sirius. Merovich also points out that in the ET stronghold instance, also known as Saint Titium, frogs frequently fall from the sky. But they don't come from Sirius, they come from the other planets. The founder of the royal line, Merovich, was said to be the father of his mother, already pregnant by King Clodai, who was seduced while swimming in the ocean by a Quanitor, literally 5 horn. And Merovich was formed somehow by the commingling of French blood, that of the mysterious aquatic creature, like of the Norzorans of old. The Merovingian monarchs never cut their hair, and bore a distinctive birthmark, said to be a red cross, over their shoulder blade. Their robes were fringed with tassels with they're said to carry magical curative powers. And these people study around all ancient cultures and try to see the mysteries. And because they was from Inky. These people knew had a lot of knowledge brought down from them. Inky known as Satan. Merovingians were known as a cult adepts and as one of their tombs. Items such as golden bull's heads and crystal ball and several golden miniature bees were found strangely. Many skulls of these monarchs appear to have been ritually and science triumphant. Now this is Leonore d'Este and his wife, Princess d'Este. And we see they have elongated skulls because they descend from the people of Inki. They consider themselves of a pre-Adamite culture, which they was modified, put here by another race that wasn't supposed to be here. And you see the Pope, we might a lot of them were those because some of them have elongated skulls still. But they got ways to mix in their blood with other cultures too, so they can have children with them because usually a lot of their blood types won't have children with other cultures. The House of Este, Italian, was an Italian princely family linked with several contemporary royal dynasties, including the House of Habsburg and the British royal family. The elder branch of the House of Este, known as the Younger House of Wealth, included the Dukes of Bavaria and Brunswick, Lundberg, and produced Britain's and Bavarian monarchs, as well as one of the emperors of Russia, Ivan, and of Holy Roman Emperor Otto. The younger branch of the House of Este includes rulers of Ferrara and the Modena and Reggio. So these are actual descendants of the seed of Inki when they came here and put it here. See, Annunaki is about to turn. All the Annunaki people are not the same people, the same race. They're different beings. Okay. Este, Italian noble family rulers of Ferrara and of Modena, and celebrated patrons of the arts during the Renaissance, probably Lombard origin. They took their name from the castle of Este near Padua. They succeeded to the house of the Guelphs when the original Guelph line died out. See, they took over. They ruling all over the royal families of the earth. That's what they put their positions into. They feel like they are the royalty because they come from Inky. They feel like that's they God, Satan. That's why you see all the Illuminati and all these people worship the horns, the Satan, the bull, and all that. It's Inky Satan. They feel like he's God. That's what they feel like. And so they all worship, and this is a bloodline. They follow after this, and some of them come from that bloodline. A lot of them just mixed in with other people. Anzo d'Este, second Lord of Este and the founder of his family's greatness, was invested with maligned by the emperor. Also, his son Guelph d'Este, or Guelph, was adopted by his maternal uncle Guelph, who he succeeded in Duke of Carinthia. See, he succeeded. See, this bloodline ruling all over. He was made Duke of Bavaria, the grandfather of Henry the Proud of Bavaria and of Saxony. Guelph was the founder of the German line of the Guelphs. So the German line of the Guelphs, they ruled in Germany, from whom the British royal family is descended. So you got a part of the British royal family. He died on Cyprus while crusading. You see a lot of the bloodlines of these people. So just take a minute and look if you can see it. Give me a minute. These people rulers over Italy, Britain, France, Germany, a lot of them of Russia, uh, all over Americas. They got people here, but some of these people not the people ruling in a lot of positions. That's what the problem is. That's why they're gonna come destroy this place. It's getting out of their hand. They're gonna start losing control. That's what these people want. Almost all the royal families of Europe are related to each other. This family tree shows how they share a single ancestor. Royals in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, these Netherlands, and Monaco are related to each other. And to the UK royal family, including Queen Elizabeth II. Now these families ruling all over this earth. What they call the 1%. They got other people that make sense to end that they know science, genetics. They worship their father, Satan. The royal families of Europe are vast and diverse, with each family possessing different titles and powers. But one thing they do have in common is they share ancestors. While the family trees are complicated, and there are many ways that Europe royals are all related to each other. One of the simplest is to look at King George II, who was the king of Great Britain and Ireland from 1727 until 1760. George's ancestors now had Europe's royal families, and his children and grandchildren married royals from around the continent. See this? It's ruling all over. Take a look at the picture, you can see someone might know him. Monarchies in Americas. There are 13 monarchies in America, self-governing states and territories that have a monarch as a head of state. Each is constitutional monarchy, where the sovereign inherits his or her office, usually keeping it until death or abdication, and is bound by laws and customs that exercise their powers. 10 of the monarchies are independent states. They equally share Queen Elizabeth II, who resides primarily in the United Kingdom, as their respective sovereign, making them part of a global personal union known as the Commonwealth Realms. The others are dependencies of 3 European monarchies. As such, none of monarchies in the Americas have a permanently residing monarch. So they know people can rise up in America any time. That's why they end up destroying this place. This is the daughter of Babylon. These crimes continue in history of monarchy in the Americas that reaches back before European colonization. Both tribal and more complex pre-Columbian societies existed under monarchical forms of government. See, this goes deep. They go far back. This is these people. But some expanded to vast empires under a central king figure, while others did the same with a decentralized collection of tribal reigns under a hereditary chieftain. None of the contemporary monarchies, however, are descended from those pre-colonial royal systems, so they didn't keep all the same systems. That's why America is like this. Instead, either having their historical roots in or still being a part of the current European monarchies that spread their reach across the Atlantic Ocean, beginning in the mid-14th century. That's why these people ruling. They come from Saint Inky. They believe they God. That's why they promote them all over now. The world's waking up and seeing. That's why this guy. Yeah, see, he's a descendant of the devil. He's also a devil. That's her. Actual devil that the Bible speaks of. So Queen Elizabeth II to your left, Bill Gates to your right. They're family members. They come from the serpent, Inky, Satan. That's why they do the things they do. That's why they're ruling all over. Musk. Last name Musk. Recorded as Miss Musk dismutatives such as miskin, and others. This is a English surname. It is, however, of Old French origins and was introduced into England after the famous Norman conquest of 1066. The reputation is from word mistake meaning man. It was a nickname to distinguish a younger person usually son from an older bearer or of the name. So we see that name comes from back in the day because Elon Musk is trying to hide his ancestry, which will tie him back to the people of the dragon, which is the people that Esau served and follow after their god Satan. Though you have singular people that may not follow their whole nation, we know that. Elon Musk family once owned an emerald mine in Zambia. See, they sold it, but we'll jump in that. Show you this once again. Most population of humans discovered in ancient Africa. This is the first time researchers have done an in-depth analysis of ancient DNA from Western Central Africa. During the Stone Age, what is now Western Cameroon, 4 children were perished before their prime were buried in a natural rock shelter now, thousands of years later. Of analysis of ancient DNA found in the bones have revealed secrets about the people who lived there many millennia ago, according to a new study. Perhaps the most surprising findings is that these children are not related to the modern-day Bantu-speaking culture, because it was of a pre-Adamite culture. A lot of these people, we are the new Adam from Yahweh, the actual creator of the heavens and earth. And the other people are to show you with elongated skulls, and they people who are ruling all over the earth are from Satan, his seed, the seed of the serpent. Okay. Anunnakis, those from heaven to earth came. The Anunnakis, or those of royal bloodline. All the Anunnakis are not the same people. They all came down from heaven to earth. So that's why they call it Anunnakis to a lot of people. But there are a lot of known as Anunnas will be the original name. Anunnaki, ancient astronaut aliens, also known as fallen angels, by Morrow, Belingo, and Zechariah. And also Eric Devanikin. And we got many others. Many others. Many scientists know this. They also know they came down in UFOs. They know the angels come down in UFOs. The Anunnaki also is transcribed as Anunnaki, Annunaki. So Annuna would be the actual name, but a lot of them translate as Anunnaki. And other variations are a group of deities of the ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. And the earliest Sumerians writing about them, which come forth from the post-Akkadian period. The Anunnaki are deities in the pantheon, descendants of An and Ki, the god of the heavens and the goddess of earth. And the primary function was to decree the face of humanity since the second half of the 12th century. They have been the subject of new upcoming modern archaeologists and Sumerian translators such as Irving Finkel. Another important word we need to explore is Satan, perhaps better known to you as Satan. The word Satan is ancient Sumerian, actually translates as administrator. This is where they get the Star Wars movies. If you go to the ancient church, this is where they get all the Star Wars movies. So it's not even mythology. They try to tell you that. But this is what they make a lot of their movies out of. And they know the Bible ties into all this. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? This wicked. God, they can preserve them during the flood. They tried to corrupt the Sumerian text, trying to put himself in place of the other angels at the time being. That's why you got the Torah, and the Torah lets you know that what's going on. 2 Corinthians 4:4. In whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not. That's the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. So no, Satan, the God of this world, the administrator, And they say Pisces, who they say Amon-Ra still ruling right now because he's one of the sons of Enki descendants. And his rulership is now, he took it a while back before it was time for his rulership. And it's Pisces. And his rulership is about to be over this year around 2025. Will be the end of Pisces. So there's going to be a change coming for sure. A lot of people don't know that. And he rides around the UFO, also known as Satan too, because he's an administrator also. But he's also known as God Israel too. Former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrow shooting heavenward by saying that the Earthling has been in contact with extraterrestrial from a galactic federation. The unidentified flying objects has been asked to not publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready. Yet Hayam Eshid, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry Space Directorate, told Israel's Yediot Hanoratnat newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday. We know these aren't the real Hebrew; these are convert Hebrew, and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. A respected professor and retired General Eshed said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. But when you dig deeper, they always been in contact. They've been in contact since 1950 something, but they've been in thousands of years because they're just telling us this to think they coming down. But they've been down here. They've been doing this. Give me a minute. These are ancient depictions of beings seen and saw. If you look down to the bottom at the right, a lot of those are goggles that they're wearing. And some people did have big eyes, and they also depicted some as reptilian-looking beings, which would have been when he came down to make man. He also, when he was first modified, they didn't get him right the first time, so some of them came out reptilian-looking. But he's also known as a reptilian type shapeshifter, but we'll get into that. As we see, these are ancient carvers and stuff, and we know that people wouldn't just sit around to waste their time doing all this deep and detailed stuff of some fake mythological stories. People took their time to carve these things they saw, beings they saw, actual real stories and things going on in that time. Because this earth used to be magical and more spiritual. When those people I showed you, the Descendants of Satan, when they come down, a lot of them say they come from Mars and it's other planets because they've been conquering, destroying planets. They dumped down humanity. They got humanity not being able to connect to the truth and the true spiritual of this earth and the powers that really are. We're just looking at more depictions, things people saw, beings people saw that came down and spoke to different men because there's multiple beings known as Annunaki, not the same people. But a lot of them came down together. They say that Gigi was ruling on Mars, but while a lot of the other Annunaki characters was still here, and a lot of Gigi was here because it was first working them before they modified the pre-Adam to make them an Adam for slave. Then they started modifying the other Adams. So Yahweh, the true creator, had to another Adam back to give rulership back over the earth. But these pre-Adamites, the people with elongated skulls and their relatives, think they're the lords of the earth when the Adam we come from was given rulership. We're the lords of the earth. But they dumbed us down, they ruling. They know what's going on. Because we're the actual gods of the earth. We're the true royal bloodline of the Adam in Genesis that was placed here with Eve. And as we see, that's where they get the Marvel characters from. A lot of these movies. They dig deep into this stuff. As you see one character up there, here's an astronaut suit on. You. People carved that, took time detail, what they saw, the beings they saw come down. A lot of the people they saw come down, well, most of all of them are flesh and blood people, just like us, human beings. People, man, different types of skin, maybe different color skin. Some of them come down with blue skin, some of them depicted with green skin. And then we know Yahweh, the one who created us, them what you would call it African America, a black man. Skin, pre-Adamite, and the Adam that he brought down, a lot of them say ruddy, that's a red skinned Negro. That's what he looked like. These depictions are thousands years old. Astronaut suits, bicycles, cell phone, some type of space device, spaceship device to your right, and depicting the people they saw come down. A lot of the wings represent flying devices on these characters. These are beings depicted from the African culture. That's the Amma of Dogon. You see one of them depicting a space suit looking device. A lot of the beings that come down that some depicted as reptilian looking, they were actually wearing masks. They were not reptilian. A lot of the modified beings of pre-Adamite culture is reptilian until they got the process right. And now they ruling over us and think they're the lords of the earth. And we are the actual lords of the earth. The Mami Water culture. Mami Water culture is a real culture. It's about beings in Africa that live in the water. They snatch up and kidnap women, make them bear children, and they do other things to these people. These are more depictions, and we also see, if you go to your right, the one that says Tano. His story is similar to the story of Jacob and Esau. See, a lot of the guys the Egyptian picked were black, right? But you see the one in the middle is green. A serpent symbol, also known as Inky Ptah. We know he's a geneticist. We know he can change skin colors because just like they did Michael Jackson, they turned from black to white. So, and we know he can. They say he got devices to change shapeshift, but we know yeah he's a very wise scientist and wiki. Also known as Satan, the ministry. He has a UFO. And we see Howard Shai. See these people are depicted as men because they are men, people just like us from another planet. Super advanced civilizations. The Annaka, the Annaka, the spoken and written language of the Annunaki, which we know that they weren't the same people, so someone knew the Egyptian language. The angels of Yahweh were the ones that come down. They also knew Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. The serpent or snake is one of the oldest and most widespread mythological symbols. The word is derived from Latin serpents or crawling animal or snakes. Snakes have been associated with some of the oldest rituals known to mankind and represent dual expression of good and evil. The Anunnaki reptiles in history. See, some people depict a lot of them being reptilian, but a lot of them was just regular people, looking people. There are a lot of cultures that have talked about the existence of some reptilian beings considered as gods. The Anunnaki, there are many evidences and traces left by these beings in our history. Ancient inhabitants indicated and represented these gods in their paintings, writing, documents, and above all in their buildings, which are currently impossible to replicate. Their technological knowledge and universe awareness had influence in our history, even until now. And we know that's true. And we know that they got in the Info Temple, they got the beginning circle, so they got red tablets of 18,420 BC. And they got Ptah became first king of Egypt, was also known as created God. We know they do it all over this earth. And after the flood, they went back, setting up their people and going back all over the earth again. Because they just like regular people. And they had descendants, so they're just a super advanced people from another planet. And we see Enki, we see Ptah slash Enki was the god of heaven and earth that really tried to symbolize himself over the true God. We got the Sumerian king list. And this is an actual artifact. It dates kings back just thousands of years of reigning. We got after the kingship descended for heaven, the kingship was in Eridu, and Eridu Elulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years. And Alajar ruled for 36,000 years. So we see it keeps going. These kings ruled for thousands of years. Then we go down to the bottom and say, then the flood swept over. So we're showing this culture before the flood. We have documents and historical documents and stories of these people being here. Ohio State University. The Anunnaki arrived on Earth 450,000 years ago, looking for minerals, namely gold, which they began mining in Africa. When Anunnaki miners became displeased with working conditions, it was decided that Anunnaki genes and Homo erectus genes would be engineers. You see, now they decided it was time to engineer people to create slaves to replace the miners, thus resulting in Homo sapiens. So they want to start modifying the pre-Adamites. South African ancient Anunnaki gold mines. We see Michael Challenger has become an international authority on the origins of humankind and the vanished civilizations of southern Africa. Scholars have told us that the first civilization on Earth emerged in a land called Sumer some 6,000 years ago. New archaeological and scientific discoveries made by Michael Challenger, Johan Hain, and a team of leading scientists. See, this is team leading scientists now, show that the Sumerians and even the Egyptians inherited all their knowledge from an earlier civilization that lived at the southern tip of Africa more than 200,000 years ago, mining gold in South Africa. Ancient Annunaki gold mines, because this is a pre-Adamite culture. This was Satan came down to make his own people. He modified pre-Adamites also. Now they're trying to do it to us today. These were also the people who carved the first horse bird, the first sphinx, built the first pyramids, and built an accurate stone calendar right in the heart of it all. Adam's calendar now referred to as Inca's calendar, and we know Inca's known as Satan. And then the flagship among means is circular stone ruins, ancient roads, agricultural terraces, and thousands of ancient mines left behind by advanced civilization, which we now call the first people. These settlements cover most of southern Africa and an area about twice the size of Texas. They carved detailed images into the hardest rock, worshiped the sun, and were the first to carve an image of the Egyptian Ankh, key of life, and a universal knowledge 200,000 years ago before the Egyptians came to life. And we go to some more Egyptian stuff. Prior to the creation of dynasties and prehistory of ancient Egypt, god kings reigned, or in some cases just missed it. These beings were undoubtedly the same Annunaki of ancient Sumerian texts, so this is also Sumerian doctrine, but with different names. For example, Ptah Egyptian fame is the Sumerian Enki, Isis the same as Inanna, and Ra the same as Merdu. But Egypt was distinct from Sumer, even if the players were essentially the same. In Egypt, Ptah Enki held sway, while in Sumer it was his half brother Enlil. This is a major difference and accounts for massive differences in their histories, cultures, and those traditions brought down to us today. The fact that the symbols of Egyptian culture and that of other cultures might have included common elements does not dispute the fact that the manner in which the Egyptian culture focused its energies, created their own realities, may have been enormously different from those other races and cultures, which may have been in existence at the time. Then you have the book of Manetho, dynasties of gods, demigods, and spirits of the dead. People witness these things. From Egyptian history, Manetho, who composed this account in 3 books, these deals with the gods of the demigods, the spirits of the dead, and the mortal kings. See, they did a lot of this because Satan, Enki retired. He ruled over that too, and they brought a lot of that satanic doctrine when he went wild. And the mortal kings who ruled Egypt down to Darius, king of the Persians, of his fire, his son Helios, his son, who was succeeded by Sosus, the follower in turn Kronos, Osiris, Typhoon, brother of Osiris, and lastly Horus, son of Osiris and Isis. These were the first to hold sway in Egypt thereafter the year I take, however, to be a lunar one, consisting that it is of 30 days, what we now call a month. The Egyptians used formula to style a year. And we see it shows you guys ruling for thousands of years too. These demigods. Because they was having sex with daughters of men still. The Cyrus cylinder. This is an artifact. An ancient clay cylinder now broken into several pieces on which is written in declaration, Akkadian cuneiform script. And in the name of Perseus, Achaemenid, king of Cyrus the Great. It dates from the 6th century BC and was discovered in the ruins of Babylon in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq. In 1879, it is currently in the possession of the British Museum, which sponsored the expedition that discovered the cylinder. It was created and used as a foundation deposit following the Persian conquest of Babylon in 539 BC, when the Neo-Babylonian Empire was invaded by Cyrus and his incorporated into his Persian Empire. The text on the cylinder praises Cyrus, sets out his genealogy, and portrays him as a king from a line of kings. The Babylonian king Nabonidus who was defeated and deposed by Cyrus and denounced and emperor suppressor of the people of Babylon. See, in this cylinder, what it's telling you, through the victory, it is portrayed that it states that Cyrus was welcomed by the people of Babylon as the ruler and entered the city in peace. It appeals to murder, murder also known as Amon-Ra, to protect and help Cyrus and his son. It extols Cyrus as a benefactor of the citizens of Babylon who improved their lives, reparated displaced people, are restored. Temples and cult sanctuaries across Mesopotamia, elsewhere in the region. It concludes with a description of how Cyrus repaired the city wall of Babylon and found a similar inscription placed there. An earlier king. And what's written on it, you talking about the god Baal, which they also call Enki, Amon-Ra, all them. But Amon-Ra at this time that we see when it said Pills being murdered. So, and this is actual artifact, actual speaking of actual demigod or whatever god You know, that's one of Satan's sons. Ohio State University, as Ike presents the most significant evidence for his theory of lizard people, and the archives and his linking of the reptilian bloodline to a large number of U.S. presidents, celebrities, and other global figures. Barkan. He also cites political events such as the establishment of the Middle East by Western powers as an intentional move to create fear and violence in social media as an experiment in surveillance and supplemental artificial intelligence. Which this is true stuff. People are saying her trying to rule over these people. These people all over. UFO Chronicles is an unprecedented and uncensored audio series featuring the top authorities on UFO, Enigma pilots, astronauts, government officials, military officials, and medical experts, scientists, religious leaders, and more reveal than never before heard interviews the ramification of the alien presence on planet Earth. So we know you can go into the documents of the people. We'll go down and look through it real quick. So the Disclosure Project and Project Orion speaks frankly about his compilation of over 400 government military intelligence witnesses testifying to their direct first-hand experience with UFO, ET technology, and the cover-up and or suppression of evidence of an alien presence on Earth. So we see there's a cover-up going on. Commander Graham Bethune, a Navy pilot who was extensively documented an 8-minute encounter with an unidentified flying object that was 300 feet in diameter, discussed this mind-blowing encounter and many other experiences by plots and air traffic patrols around the globe. Jim Marison, a New York Times bestselling author of books and articles on a wide range of alleged books crossfire, was a source for Oliver Stone's film JFK. He wrote books about the certain existence of government conspiracies regarding aliens, telepathy, and secret societies. In this frank interview, Mars reveals the true nature of the conspiracy of controlled by the ruling elite. These people who are not supposed to be here, come from another planet, modified them a certain atom, had sex with daughters of men, and think they guys over us. They say because they think they've been here longer than us. They say they've been here longer than us, so they feel like they're the guys over us. Give our praise to the Heavenly Father. Kahala na yawa ba. Show me your shot.